Welcome to Learners Planet students. Students, in today's session, we will study about amazing animals. So students, let's start with this session. So in today's session, we are going to study about some animals, their habitat. Habitat means we'll study that where they live, how do they live. So this is the session of all about animals, the amazing animals. Students, imagine what would be the world if there were no animals in the jungles, no birds chirping in the morning, no honeybees making honey, no fishes in the ponds, no trees, no flowers and no fruits. Our surroundings would be empty, right? And that is why we say that animals are very much important. So the animal kingdom is very large and has a variety of animals, big and small, which are found on land, in water and in air. And we can say that animals play a very important role in our life. Why? Because these all makes up our surroundings. The surroundings in which they live and grow is called environment, right? So there are different animals having different shapes, different size. There are many different animal classes. So let's look and study more about animals. Yes, the animals are categorized into two major divisions, vertebrates and invertebrates. The animals with backbones are called as vertebrates, right? And you must be knowing that the five most well-known classes of the vertebrates, that means the animals with backbones, are mammals, birds, fish, reptiles and amphibians, right? As you know that there are many different animal classes and every animal in the world belongs to one of them, right? Either vertebrates or invertebrates, right? So let's study about these animals. There are a lot of animals without backbones also, right? Let's move on to that topic. Yes, there are also a lot of animals without backbones and these are termed as invertebrates. And the most commonly known class among the invertebrates is insects. Apart from this class, there are other classes also, right? But we have to discuss only some of them, like insects, then spiders, crabs, all such examples are of invertebrates, right? So let's start with this session of amazing animals and learn something about them. Yes, animals are found in all the parts of the world, right? An animal is the member of the kingdom Animalia, right? One of the greatest kingdoms of living things. And that is why we can say that they are found in all the parts of the world, like in tropical and polar regions, in deserts and in bodies of water, in underground, on mountains and also in the air. There are some animals that live inside the plants and some live in the bodies of other animals, right? There are animals so small that they can barely be seen with the unaided eye. And some are the animals which are very gigantic creatures like elephants and whales, right? Many animals possess what can be called as intelligence, but none can compare with humans in the quality and degree of such intelligence of any thought process, right? Like the humans do. This is the main difference between the humans and the animals, right? There are many animals which possess some intelligence in them, right? But not like humans, right? Let's see that different type of animals live in different kind of habitat. Every animal is not the same. All the animals are not the same, right? And animals' habitat are also not same, right? So let's study about habitat of different animals. Yes, first of all, we should know that what is meant by habitat. A spatial place where a plant or animal lives is termed as habitat, or we can say an area where a particular animal lives naturally is called its habitat. And as you know that an animal also needs 5 things to survive in its habitat, like humans, right? And that is water, food, shelter, air and a place to raise its young one, right? So these are the 5 things which are very much essential, for the survival of any animal on earth, right? when we talk about an animal's or a plant's home, it is more like a neighborhood than a house, right? So an animal needs these all such things to survive, right? Just like you have a home or a place to live, so do animals also, right? So always remember that these are some of the things which are very much essential for them, right? Animals require different amounts of space. Like habitats can be big, like a forest, or they can be much smaller, like a burrow. Like some other animals need only a small amount of space to live, and they can put up with neighbors also, right? So different animals have different habitats. Some live in forests, some live in burrow, some need only small amount of space, and some need very large amount of space. Some animals defend a huge territory or roam over a large area, and some animals do not need that much of huge territory or area to roam about, right? Just like you have to go to the store to get food, an animal leaves its shelter to get the things they need to live. If the population's needs aren't met, it will move to get a better habitat, and this is what is the animal's habitat, right? And this is the thing where animal's habitat changes, right? If the population's needs aren't met, it will move to a better habitat, right? And that is why we can conclude and we can say that different animals need different habitats. Let's have a look on some of the examples. Right, different animals need different habitats, and the home of an animal is within its habitat. Always remember that the home of an animal is within its habitat. For example, a fish needs clean water to live. A grasshopper, however, needs a big space where it can hop and leaves that it can eat, right? So there is a difference between a fish, grasshopper, and the third different animal, a lion. Lion's home is the den and the forest is its habitat. This is the main difference between the home and the habitat. Children, do not confuse yourself between home and habitat. A lion's home is the den and the forest is its habitat, right? So this is one such example which explains the best difference between the home and the habitat, right? So we can say that animals need to have shelter like us, right? Like we need home to live, we need space to live, animals also need space to live, right? So based on the requirement of space and all such things, different animals will have different habitats. So let's see what kind of different habitats animals have, right? There are 5 main habitats on our planet, our Earth, and these are: first, the polar regions and the mountains where there is snow. Secondly, deserts. Thirdly, forests. Fourth is fresh water, which includes rivers, lakes, ponds, seas, etc. And the fifth one is the oceans. So these are the 5 main habitats on our planet, right? And now we will discuss about each of the main habitat and about the animals, that what kind of animals survive in all such habitats, right? So let's start with this session of the habitat, right? The first one is the polar regions and mountains, right? As you know, children, that about 70% of our planet is covered with water and rest of it is covered with land, right? So we can consider these regions on land, right? So the first one is the polar regions and mountains. So what is it? The core of the Arctic is the Great Ocean. As you know that, the Arctic Ocean, the Great Arctic Ocean, and parts of which are covered all the year round by the ice. And secondly, the Antarctic. Antarctic is also an isolated continent surrounding the South Pole, and the Arctic is surrounding the North Pole, right? So we can say that bitter cold winds whip the Earth's polar regions, like the Arctic in the north and Antarctic in the south, right? And these are the parts which are covered all the year round by ice, right? So we can say that Arctic is in the North Pole and Antarctic surrounds the South Pole, right? The Arctic Ocean has many thousands of big and small islands and is almost surrounded by land, right? Mainly the northern parts of Europe, Asia and North America. Whereas the Antarctic, as we discussed, that it is an isolated continent surrounding the South Pole, has high mountains and glaciers and is considered as the coldest, driest and windiest continent on the earth. How can we say that it is the coldest, driest and windiest continent on the earth? Like, these regions are very, very cold. The coldest temperature ever known on earth is minus 89 degrees Celsius, and this was recorded in Antarctica. So you can just imagine that minus 89 degrees Celsius means how much coldest temperature is there on Antarctica. The average winter temperature in the Arctic is about minus 30 degrees Celsius, right? So you can just imagine. The short Arctic summer can be relatively warm, but especially on the coastal fringes of the Arctic Ocean, it is all surrounded by ice, so it has the coldest temperature. It gets warm enough for the people living within some parts of the Arctic Circle to grow some vegetables or fruits like that, right? But it is the coldest one, right? So let's move on to another slide and know more about the polar regions and mountains. Yes, this is the animal polar bear, which are perfectly adapted for the survival in the Arctic region, right? So you can just imagine, the scientists believe that the sea bear, which evolved about 2 lakh years ago from brown bear ancestors, right? And because of this, the polar bears are perfectly adapted for the survival in the Arctic region. The polar bear is the only bear considered as a marine mammal, right? Mammal means, as you know, that an animal which gives birth to the young one, birth to a baby, right? It does not lay eggs, right? So it is a marine mammal. Although most polar bears are born on land, but most of their life is spent at sea. Since they can hunt consistently only from the sea ice, they spend most of the year on the ice. So you must be thinking that why polar bears are spending most of their life or most of their year on the ice? Because they can hunt consistently only from the sea ice, right? As you know that what do polar bears eat? Yes, fishes, right? So we can say that polar bears are the bears which are considered as marine mammal, and they live in the polar regions and mountains, snowy mountains, right? So one such adaptation is polar bear's white fur, and another adaptation of this polar bear is fat. So what is the importance of having this kind of adaptation? Right. The fat not only protects them from the cold but also adds to the bear's buoyancy in the water. Means it will make very light in weight, right? Because the survival in an icy aquatic environment requires several specialized adaptations which these polar bears have. And that is why these are the 2 adaptations which the polar bears have. Even there is one more adaptation. It camouflages them when they are out on the ice and when they are in the snow. So this makes it easier for them to sneak up on animals they hunt, like you can see in the picture, like they hunt, right? So to insulate them from the cold, polar bears have a fat layer which is up to 10 centimeter thick. And we can see some more examples of the animals which live in the polar regions and mountains. We saw one such example of polar bear and we saw an adaptation, right? Other examples are the penguin, seal and walrus. This is seal. These are the penguins and walrus. So these are some of the animals which are found in polar regions. They also have a thick layer. They have a thick layer of fat called as blubber under their skin, which keeps the body warm. So these animals also have such kind of adaptations, just like polar bears have, right? So their fat, thick layer is known as blubber under their skin to keep their body warm. So we discussed about one such main habitat, and that was polar regions and mountains. Now let's move on to another main habitat. Yes, another main habitat is desert. A desert is a dry, often sandy region, as you can see here in this picture, that receives very little rainfall. So comparatively, in comparison with other regions, a desert is such a region that receives a very little rainfall, and that is why they are considered as the world's dry places, and they cover at least 1/5 of the Earth's surface. And because of having no water or receiving little water, deserts are bare landscapes with few plants or animals. So you can see in the picture and you can imagine just that how few plants or animals would be surviving here, right? So we can say that because of receiving little rainfall, there are very few plants or animals, right? So not only does rain seldom fall in deserts, it comes unexpectedly, and often several years might pass before another rainstorm falls in the same place. So it can rain, or rather we can say it will not rain at all. Many deserts combine lack of water with very hot summer temperatures, and the temperature usually drops at night and the desert becomes cool because there are no clouds to keep in the earth's heat. So the difference between this day and night temperatures can be as much as 20 degrees Celsius, right? So all such things happen in the desert, and because of this difference between day and night temperatures, what will happen? Deserts will have a variety of different landscapes. Like some deserts are endless seas of sand where the wind piles the sand into great big dunes, and even other deserts may be like having other type of landscapes, right? So let's have a look on other information and let's study more about desert. Right, deserts are often very hot during the daytime and cold during night. As you know that the difference between the day and night temperatures can be as much as 20 degrees Celsius. So the animals that live in deserts have special features. Because of these kind of temperatures, they have special features to withstand the hot and dry climate, right? So there are some animals which can survive in this type of climate, but they do have special features, right? So we will discuss about that special features, but first we will discuss more about deserts. Yes, most deserts are a combination of landscapes, as I said, right? Deserts may be flat, stony plains, rocky hills and mountains, and even you must be knowing that the Sahara Desert is the world's largest desert after Antarctica, right? Antarctica is considered to be the world's largest one, and after Antarctica, which one comes? Sahara. Now you must be thinking that how can Antarctica be considered as the world's largest desert? How? Because Antarctica there is snow and all that. It is not same as the Sahara one. Antarctica is not even having hot or humid climate, is it? Yes. Antarctica is such a region where snow occurs, very cold regions, right? But always remember, children, that desert does not mean that there is hot climate or hot temperature and humid temperature, right? It is not always about hot temperature, but deserts can also be considered as the place having cold temperature, right? So where there is cold and hot temperature, both can be considered as desert. But the thing is that deserts are the dry regions, right? Antarctica is also one of considered as one of the dry regions, right? And they are the cold regions, cold and dry, both, right? So we can consider Antarctica as a desert. The polar deserts means the colder regions, right? And Sahara is one such place where there is hot temperature, right? So they are considered as the hotter deserts, right? So always remember the difference between this thing, right? So we can just say that Sahara is the world's largest desert after Antarctica, and it stretches up to 90 lakh kilometers square across North Africa. There are other deserts also, and there are smaller deserts also which are found in North and South America and all that, right? So we can say that most of the deserts are the combination of landscapes, and there are many animals that can survive in this kind of region. So let's have a look at some of the animals which can survive in this kind of region. Right. With nightfall, the desert comes alive. Like large spiders, centipedes and scorpions, they crawl out from the holes or from under stones. As you can see here in this picture, this is the spider and this is the scorpion, right? So they crawl from the holes or from under stones. So these are some of the desert animals, right? And there are other species also. Many species of rats and mice are adapted to desert life. They include the grasshopper mice and kangaroo rats, right? So let's have a look on it. Right. Some animals like kangaroo rats and lizards live in burrows during the hot days, and they come out at night to feed. Right. So you can see the picture. This is the picture of a lizard and this is a picture of a kangaroo rat. Right. So these are some of the animals. They have such type of adaptation that they can survive in such hot climate, hot temperature, right? So let's see one more example. Yes, the other animals have bodies that are designed to save water, right? Like scorpions and wolf spiders. This is a wolf spider, which have a thick outer covering which reduces the moisture loss in them, right? So it will reduce the moisture loss in them, and that's why they will be able to save water in them. They will be able to store water in them, and they will be able to survive in such hot and humid climate. Let's see one more example. Right, camel, right? The camel has an adaptation to desert life, like its body temperature rises and falls with the air temperature. So the camel does not lose water through sweating or panting, right? So you can just imagine that there are so many animals which can survive in this climate. Since water is so scarce, most desert animals get their water from the food they eat, like succulent plants, seeds, or the blood and the body tissues of their prey. But they must carefully conserve the little water they obtain in this way. So desert animals prevent water leaving their bodies in a number of different ways, like we saw, right? Like kangaroo cats and lizards, right? Which do not get too hot or too cold and have a very humid air inside. These animals stay in their burrows during hot days and they come out at night to feed, like we saw another animal like camel, right? So these are some of the animals. The camel has also other adaptations apart from the body temperature, like it can drink large amounts of water at one time and using the fat store in its hump. You can see here, this is a hump. So why this hump is, what is present in the hump? It is the fat store in the hump, right? So if the fat will be stored in its hump, what will happen? It can survive as long as 2 weeks without water. So you can just imagine that what a beautiful kind of adaptation this camel has, and other animals which survive in this desert have such a beautiful type of adaptations, right? So amazing animals they are, right? So we studied about one more habitat. Now let's move on to another habitat. Yes, forest. The third main habitat is the forest. So what is actually forest, children? A forest is a large area that is covered by trees and plants, and forests provide shelter to a large variety of animals like lion, tiger, bear, bat. They live in caves. There are other animals also which live in forests. Let's have a look on it. Yes, many forest animals live on trees like monkeys and birds. So you can just imagine that this is one such picture of a forest, right? There are many animals that live in forest. There are insects also that live in forest, several types of insects which live on the forest floor, like rabbits, snakes, earthworms and rats which live inside burrows. Let's have a look at other examples. Right. A few birds are considered as the permanent residents of the evergreen forest, like woodpeckers, tits, owls, hawks and grouse, right? So there are many such animals that live in forest. There are many mammals that live in the forest, like moose, deer, reindeer, then mice, squirrel. All such animals live in the forest, and mammals have also developed various ways to survive the icy winters, like the hares and the foxes. They grow dense winter coats, and small shrews and voles burrow inside under the snow for warmth and live on the stored food. Some mammals such as bears hibernate, spending the winter asleep and living on fat reserves which they build up in their bodies during the summer months. So there are many such adaptations in such animals of the forest habitat, right? So these are some of the examples which we saw, right? Let's move on to another main habitat. Right, another main habitat is fresh water. Children, rivers, lakes, ponds, etc. are examples of freshwater habitats. So the creatures that live in running water have found different ways of adapting to the strong currents of the water. Right, as you know that some areas are just having tides and ebbs in the water. They are the strong currents. They are considered as the strong currents in water. So there are creatures that live in such fresh water, but they have to adapt. If they want to survive, then they have to adapt themselves to such kind of environment or such kind of place. So there are creatures, they have found different ways of adapting themselves to survive in such a type of condition. For instance, leeches. Leeches move along the bottom of the river in a series of loops when there is a strong current or strong currents occur in the fresh water, right? So just remember these examples. Let's move on to another examples also. Right, fish are usually strong swimmers, as you know, like the rainbow trout. Other fish cling or creep over the surface of stones. There are some kinds of river fish such as salmon family. Then they spend much of their lives in the sea, but they migrate up rivers to breed, right? For breeding they have to migrate up to the rivers, but much of their lives are spent in the sea region, right? And when there is tides and ebbs or currents occur, they have to adapt themselves, like they have to escape themselves from such strong currents to survive in such kind of conditions, right? So there are many such examples of freshwater habitat also, right? Let's discuss about some more examples, like the muddy lake bottom is the home to a host of creatures like flatworms and insect larvae, right? And there are some other examples like breeding fish, frogs and newts, water birds, and a variety of mammals nest and feed in the lakes and ponds near the shore, right? And as you know that there are birds also, birds of the fresh water that feed and breed in the fresh water, like ducks and geese, wading birds like sandpipers and herons, cranes, fish eagles, and huge number of smaller birds like kingfishers, weavers and finches. They are all the part of freshwater habitat, right? So all such are examples of freshwater habitat. So these were the animals which we discussed. These were the animals of living purely in water. But there are some other examples also, some interesting examples of freshwater. Let's have a look on it. Yes, some animals can live both on land and in water. For example, frog and salamander. So such animals are called as amphibians, right? So they also have got such type of adaptation that they can live both on land and in water, right? Okay, so I hope you are clear with the freshwater habitat. Let's move on to the next main habitat, and that is ocean. Yes, as you know that oceans cover 71% of the Earth's surface, and you must be knowing, children, that what happens, oceans, it's like water. About 70% of our planet is covered with water, right? Earth has been nicknamed as the blue planet because it looks blue from the space, As you can also see in this picture, this is a blue color, right? About 96% of this water is marine or salt water, which is made up of the oceans covering the earth. And within these oceans, there are many different types of habitat or environments in which plants and animals live, ranging from the freezing polar ice to tropical coral reefs, right? These habitats all come with their unique challenges and inhabited by a wide variety of organisms, wide variety of animals, right? So the different oceans merge into one another, forming the largest habitat on earth, and that is the ocean, right? Let's have a look on some more information about oceans. Yes, the three major oceans of the world are the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean and the Indian Ocean. As you know that the Arctic Ocean surrounds the North Pole, while the Southern Ocean, that is surrounding the continent of Antarctica, right? So we can just imagine that why our Earth is considered as the blue planet, because 70% of them, 71% of them are the oceans, right? And 70% is made up of water, right? So we can just imagine that how the creatures would be surviving in this kind of habitat. Let's have a look at it. Yes, a large variety of fish are found in the oceans. As you know that great ocean currents swirl around the earth, and many of them are thousands of kilometers long. Some are warm currents, some are cold. These currents have an enormous effect on the world's weather systems, right? So oceans also have layers of water at different temperatures. Like we can see a large variety of fish which are found in the oceans. Some live at the very upper part of the ocean, some live at very bottom part of the ocean. There are other creatures like small animals like crabs, jellyfish, corals and worms, and adult animals like tiny shrimps, krill, etc., which are found in the oceans. Then whale and octopus are also found in oceans, right? They keep buoyant with the help of gas-filled chambers, which reduces their density, right? So they are able to live in such kind of condition, right? So all these creatures, or there are other animals also which live in the oceans. So there are large variety of fish which live in oceans, right? So children, I hope that you enjoyed this session and learned many things about the habitat of these amazing animals, right? Amazing adaptations, interesting animals, right? So these are some of the information about the amazing animals. We will discuss more about amazing animals in the next session. Till then, keep learning, keep enjoying. Thank you, children.